the cloud. All right, so we are recording. I'm going to hopefully be able to go live on Facebook and Team Transformers. So let me look into that. Yes, okay. I don't know if it's going to let me.
If you're not like the admin of this Zoom right now, then it probably won't let you stream it into the
Well,
group.
I signed in as Sharon because it's showing up as Sharon. I signed in with her thing, but I think it's still recognizing like my computer, because when I'm saying select a group, it's giving me my customer group. It's not letting me even put Team Transformers.
Wow. Yeah, it's probably not going to let you do
I think for us leaders, you know what she's going to have to do? She's going to have to make us admin of that Team Transform if we're not, but I thought we were already. I don't know, maybe not.
I thought we were.
I thought we were. I don't know. It's not letting me even under her name. So sorry, guys. What we can do is drop the, Sharon can put the recording in there later. So that's fine. Ah, technology. All right. Okay. So selfishly, well, whenever I do a lunch and learn, I always pick a topic that I want to either learn more about or that's going to, you know, help me and everybody else. So I know I did this topic last year, talking about events, and the topic last year was really because it was so much, everything was so much on Zoom, right? Everything was shut down. It was Zoom. How are we getting creative with Zoom events? And I know so many of us have gotten creative with Zoom events. And I think what's awesome, and from this past year, we've learned how to be really creative with Zoom events and get more people. Because when you have live events, I think that's the best. But quite honestly, you can't, you know, we have customers and team all over the place. So it's just not, you know, it is great. It's just a great benefit to be able to do all these Zoom events. So I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think they should stop. I can't wait to go back to more live events. But I think that, you know, some people have been really super creative. I know, Michelle, you were always really super creative, you know, with different Zoom events and things like that. So I would love to talk about what Zoom events you guys, maybe you've attended and you thought were great. Maybe you've hosted yourself. Maybe there are ideas that you're coming, you know, up with. I would love to kind of brainstorm that way. And then also, and I know everybody's area is different. Our area is definitely more open. I've been having events actually all through COVID with, you know, 10 or less people, crock pot parties, and, you know, I'm not having another salad in a jar party. So I know that there's some people having live events like that. But I, you know, salad in a jar is always popular, but I would love to do other stuff. I've done crock pot, I've done, you know, the soup swap and stuff, but I'm going to come up with, so I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but simply because I'm cheap, my kids wanted to do axe throwing. And when I looked into it, it is $25 per person per hour. So I thought, gosh, even if just the three of us go, that's $75 an hour. And what do we get? We're going to be throwing for what, 20 minutes each? And I just was like, that there's no way I'm spending that kind of money on that. So we went out and we bought axes. And now we're just throwing them at the trees in our backyard. So I am going to have an event. Awesome. I'm going to have an event, and I'm like sitting there and I keep scrambling, and I think I'm going to call it, you know, antioxidants, anti-aging, and axes. Like how, like, I think there's women that would come for the information and then also go throw axes. You know,
do you know anyone that is a yoga instructor or something like that? Because I'm in California and we're still pretty like locked down. I'm sorry, I have to cover my face. but you know, I was thinking of having like an in-person event with like a yoga instructor friend that I have. And so, you know, well, you know, I'm still gonna pay her, but she's not gonna charge me her normal rate because I mean, she loves me. And so like maybe if you have a friend like that and maybe have something like interactive, so then and maybe raffle off like some sort of like a box of shakes or something like that. I think, or like maybe, you know, like they have these booty bands, like you can do like a shake and booty bands or something like that. I don't know. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I would want to go to.
We had, Michelle, I don't know if you guys are still doing it, but at one point when, oh gosh, what was her name? I just blanked out on her name. We were getting like 50 people to that yoga
Liz
event
Hope.
near the beach. So we had, yes, we had,
Liz Hope.
yes, that's it, Liz. We had a yoga instructor, and it started out with probably what, like 5 people, then was 10 people. She had a sound system. The reps would bring,
Nice.
we would do all smoothie, you know, sampling. We never did raffles or whatever, but it was a great way. It was kind of like, it started out as a customer give back, like come to this free, you know, thing. And the reps were, you know, she was kind of just doing it, you know, out of the goodness of her own heart. And then if there was any cost for anything, you know, the reps were usually picking that up. So that was pretty popular. And then she moved, and I don't know, I see people doing hiking, right? Like the hiking, I don't know if there's a name for it, but like the hiking with the Juice Plus, they go and they talk about wellness and hiking. So yeah, fitness always does. I think that's a great idea. You should find somebody, because I mean, I know California's are really strict right now. I don't know whether or not you can still socially distance and do some sort of yoga event.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in the works. I'm, you know, trying to get, you know, the rest of my team involved. Because I'm pretty new into the company. I've been, you know, in the company for maybe about 2 years, but this is really, you know, it's kind of like up and down for me. I'm trying to balance. I'm a nurse and I work 2 jobs. So I'm trying to really balance this business because I really see myself, you know, I love the community. I love the product. Why not?
Yeah.
Why?
So, there's also been people that have done it live on Zoom. So while it's not as much fun, or maybe you could stream it while you're doing it. Like, hey, if you can't make it here in person or don't feel comfortable coming in person, you know, join us on Zoom. So maybe you could even do that as well. Because I know that there's been people that have done like bar and bar events, and they did a bar workout and then showed how to make some of the Juice Plus, you know, bars. So I know that that's been pretty popular. So yeah, if you have a yoga friend, I would definitely utilize that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much for letting me be part of your group. I'm so excited to learn, and you know, especially I'm a newbie. I'm like I love this.
Your enthusiasm is
I'm in your mask in California. We totally appreciate it. Darby and I are in New Mexico. We feel your pain.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, welcome.
so I'm thinking, I've been thinking about doing this once I get to Texas. So we're not social distancing in Texas at all. But once I get to Texas, because I lost my hair due to COVID, I'm sporting a fabulous wig, and so you can have these wig parties with Godiva wigs. And I wasn't even thinking about coupling it with Juice Plus, but I mean that's something that I can at least think about doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so just different.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for different, right? Like, you know, every salad in a jar is it's a good standby, but I like something different. So who else has done some different events? Gwen, for God's sakes, you do different stuff all the time. You got to be coming up with different stuff.
Okay, yeah.
You're a thinking out of the box person for sure.
Yeah. So now I'm going to start teaching people how to cook because nobody knows how to cook. So I'm going to start doing Zoom classes, teaching people how to make easy stuff like bone broth or vegetable broth. I mean, just basics, because nobody knows how to do basics. And I just got off a Zoom call, Janie. Yeah, she's on here. And we're going to do a combo event, and I'm going to spew my walls autoimmune protocol. That's what I call it. I was on a 1-hour training or work session with Janie, and it ended up being a 2-hour talking about autoimmune protocol. So,
Wow.
When
yeah,
you're when you're having those cooking Zooms, if I'm already in Texas, I could invite people over to watch those Zooms and we could cook it in my kitchen.
exactly. And it's going to be a cook with me thing. I want everybody to cook in their own kitchen, and so they can ask me questions. I'm getting my flyer together today. I want to start on Saturday.
Oh,
So, yeah. I'm going to do them on Saturdays because I'm hoping people will be more available on a Saturday at a weird time in the middle of the day. I don't know. And if I need to change it, I will. But yeah, cooking, because that's my thing. And then the kombucha classes, everybody loves kombucha and nobody wants to pay high dollar for it. So, you know.
That
So
sounds so good, Gwen. You know, it's so funny because of my new website, I'm offering cooking classes. So I'm loving it. So I'm going to make
Yeah.
sure you let us know when they are, and we can, you know, invite for it too.
I will, for sure, because that's what I want to do, is get it out there. But everybody
Cool.
wants to learn how to cook, and it's easy. And if you have an Instapot, you can make vegetable broth in 20 minutes. And
See,
then you can.
Gwen does these posts, and at one point I texted Gwen or sent her a Facebook message and I said, can I just come live with you for a few weeks? And she said, you wouldn't believe how many people ask me that. So that's, I think I'm one of the reasons she said, I'm going to just do a cooking class.
Yeah,
listen, she's been to my house 100 times and I've never been to hers. So it's about time, Gwen. Just saying.
I just live up the hill.
I know.
So that's what I'm doing. So yeah.
I think that's cool.
That's awesome. So that's actually a great idea. I love that Darby, I love that you want people in their own kitchens, but I also think it's a fun idea that if you can have some people over,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, to do it, let's all do it together and then they can go home and do that. So you're going to be recording, are you going to be streaming that into a group or no?
Yeah, I'm going to try to set that up too. I want to have a private group that it goes into, but I have a private page already. So I might stream it into there. And if I do, I'll figure all that out. But I just still nailing that last part down, because I think it should be fed in here to Facebook. I think that that's going to be a great thing for people to use, you know, not just my live, because I have the paid for Zoom thing. So I can run extra and I can have whatever, 100 people or whatever. But I think it needs to be in Facebook world.
Perfect.
I agree.
I got to figure that out. If it goes into, you know, a private group that's just set up for cooking, and I think that would be the best, so that I could keep track of them versus my other group. And I already have like 600 people in there and my people would get lost.
Yep. Yeah.
And if they're just in the cooking group, then it'll be just cooking.
Yeah.
Instead
Oh, I
of-
love that. I love that. So I know
So
another
now-
idea you guys have probably heard about on the Team Transformers Voxer is we've started these, Jules named them express events. It started with, I did a complete shake, well, actually with my March Madness crew, and then I did it with my team. And then I did one with Sandy's team, which was, and they've all been awesome. And then we've done an Omega one, and they're shorter, like 20 minutes. Our goal is like just a 20-minute presentation focusing on one product. So we've done that on the complete and the Omega so far. Our next one, spoiler alert, is next Monday, probably 8:30, about the berries. And I know Jules is going to be leading that because we're going to be doing the mermaid challenge. So we were supposed to do that this week and we just were not prepared. So next Monday is going to be that one. So I love those little express ones because they're easier. I'm trying to make events easy. So team members, even new team members, aren't overwhelmed. They don't think they have to know all this information, even if they just showed a little video and they made it 10 or 15 minutes, I think that's awesome. So what other ideas do we have?
Well, before we move away from that one, I think that is absolutely smart. It is awesome. And I think maybe we can dive a little deeper into what exactly it is and why. If we have new people, I'm not able to see right now. if we have new people on the team. But we do have, and I'm sorry I didn't get your name, who's in California, who's been with us for 2 years. That's awesome. I think that is really smart, just to take one of the products and so if you will go a little deeper into exactly what your mindset is about that, why we're doing it. Well, you already said it, but to tell them, to show how we do it, I think that would be really helpful. I think it's awesome. Instead of the whole thing that we do with all this presentation, just to take one product.
Yeah, I think the whole presentation is great, but I think there's a couple of reasons, right? Like, I think that because we talk about all the products, they kind of get I don't want to say glossed over. They don't get really good, but we don't go into depth. Like, we go into depth about why fruits and vegetables. I think it's an awesome presentation, but I don't think we really go into enough depth of, why our omegas, why really our omega, that's really hard to say. Our omegas are so different, than the different ones. I never knew until that conference when they were introduced that omegas weren't in fish. And I think we were all kind of like mind blown from that. And just talking about, I've learned so much from Dr. Nalani and others, why our omegas are so different. Now I've watched the Dr. Mitra Ray thing. So I just think the education on that is so much more important. And so we talk about it just on a slide during the main One Simple Change presentation. But when you have 20 minutes to talk about that product, I had 3 customers who had joined, order the omegas because they were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I think a lot of our customers, I still have customers after years that are just on the fruits and the vegetables. So to be able to get them onto a Zoom, a separate Zoom, to really dive deep into why this shake and why it's different and why the soy isn't scary, right? And why, and there's sprouts in there. I think there's just people hear shakes because there's hundreds of shakes on the market. And why is that different? So I love that we hear from different people. We're hearing from different stories. We're, trying to talk more about the research of that one product. With the complete shake, we did a lot of great tips with shakes. We, talked about how it was overnight oats. We talked about different things. If you guys haven't seen that, I think I did put that in Team Transformers Facebook group also. But really it's just diving deeper into that specific product to let people know why, it's so different. And funny enough, we haven't really done the fruits and the vegetables. I keep thinking about the, the berries and the complete and the other ones, and the omega. So we'll have to think about that one too.
Cool.
I love that you're doing that. I think that's fantastic. And for March Madness, our group got together and did a couple of events, which were kind of fun. One was called Go Green, like around the theme of St. Patrick's Day and the whole thing in March. And so that was really fun because each of us took like 3 to 5 minutes to either tell a story or share some tips about what they do to go green. So Marjorie covered the Tower Garden, and then I covered the Shamrock Shake and talked about our Juice Plus Complete. And actually I covered the other products too. And then we had this one gal who is a workout gal, and so she and her daughter do things together, and it's the cutest thing. So they just kind of in their apartment, on Zoom, showed how they could even do like chair exercises, and they had it all like choreographed with really fun jazzy music. I love it when you can incorporate exercise into any kind of presentation. I think that is a huge draw. Like when Lonnie did her bar and bar thing with Jennifer, and I think that's super cool. But themes are cool, like what you guys are doing on those express events. Like, who doesn't have 20 minutes where they could learn about something, right? That's awesome. But I thought it was really fun for all of us to get together on our March Madness though and just do a little snippet. We did one in April too, and I can't remember what the theme was for that, like how we pulled that together. But I think it was just health month, and so we just gave little health tips like on different things that we do. So, but that was
it's easier to get somebody to watch a recording when you say it's 20 minutes as opposed to 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's nice when we've been trying to keep things better at like a half an hour, and I think that's more helpful too. So but 20 is even better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, 20 minutes diving deep into one product, and then Sharon's been able to do it in 30, 35 minutes with all of the products. So sometimes that's great because if you can get them just overall interested, right, in Juice Plus, like, oh my gosh, this makes sense, you know, and they say, oh, I want to get, you know, started with the fruits and the vegetables. And then saying, you know what, that's great. You could talk to them about, you know, the berries, you can talk to them about the complete. And now if they want more information, I mean, we've got several videos by the company, but you could also send them one of those Zooms either then or down the road, you know, after they're loving their fruits and their vegetables. So any other events? Because then I want to ask who on here, if there's anybody new on here, and what intimidates you guys about doing events? Because I know that I have team members who, if I kind of force them to do events and I force them, hey, can you speak on an event? They'll do it. But I don't have a lot of team members. Some of them that are initiating and doing their own events, you know, saying, hey, I'm going to do, you know, a tower garden next Wednesday. So what is it? Maybe some of the other people can talk about how, you know, what helped them get out of their comfort zone to do their own events. And if you guys are nervous about doing your own events, what is it? How can we help you? Or how can we maybe change an event? What kind of event could we do that would help you maybe not be nervous about doing it? So I'd love to kind of ask that. I think I asked like 7 questions right there.
You packed a lot in there.
I personally, because I'm new and I haven't really been doing Zooms. I mean, like Zoom presentations. I mean, honestly, I think I need to practice because I know that there's like these slides that you can use to you know, educate people about the business. And so like, I guess because I'm just not so techie when it comes to, I mean, I can learn it. I know I can learn it, but I think that's, I'm just nervous about, I guess, messing up in front of people when you're, first, I guess it's just something new. That's why.
Well, we know one of the things that I've done that worked is that I would have one and then have the new person do it, you know, you do it together. And we just read the slides and you say, okay, I'll take the even slides, you'll take the odd slides, with, you know, with the presentation. So if you can ask your upline to do one with you, then say, you know, I'm not too comfortable with doing it, but I know if we do it together, I could get used to it. And that worked really well because they learn how that it's not so scary and they actually do it. And then before you know it, they feel comfortable enough to do one themselves.
Got it.
That works for me. Just do one with someone who's comfortable, and you just read one slide, they read the next slide, and you could have notes there if you want, if it's anything else, you know, all kinds of things. And then you'll learn that it's all just about being transparent and human anyway. And I've made lots of mistakes in public, and we still live afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
I can share
Thank you,
really
Dr.
quick.
Nalani. Thank you, Dr. Nalani.
Gabby, you're new. That's a great one.
I can share really quick. So I am new. I mean, I haven't been doing this for too long, and I'm trying to put more time into it, but I have a busy schedule. But I just did my first presentation actually last week with Sharon. And some things that I can share that was really helpful for me was one, Sharon being like, oh no, you're doing it. Cause I was like, Sharon, you know, you're going through it or whatever. And I thought she was going to do it for me because the last time I did the Friends and Family Zoom, she did it and I was just there to share my whatever. But now that I've been doing it for long enough, she's like, no, you got this. And I was like, okay. So it helped to watch somebody else's presentation from the same slides that I was using. So I watched Sharon's presentation and got to hear like how she talked about it, whatever. And then I went and did my own. So what I did was go to each slide on my computer and I just did the presentation to my dog like 10 times, you know, like thought about what I wanted to say and attributed like words to each slide before I even did the Zoom. This way I was like comfortable saying certain things or finding new verbiage. So I did take a little bit of time for me to work on it only because I feel like being prepared is so important because you want to know what you're going to say or what you should say on the slides and kind of create your own verbiage. So that's what I did. I did it like 20 times. My dog, she was passed out on the couch. Like that was enough gas. So then when I got on there, I was confident. I was confident doing it to my friends and family Zoom because I had just done it a million times or whatever works for you best. But that was what I found helpful. Watching somebody else's presentation and then creating my own verbiage to each slide. And I was obviously really shaky in the beginning. My family was like, you said too many times. I'm like, whatever. But that was a learning experience, you know,
Yeah.
and I felt so much better after doing it. Like, and just keep going through it. Don't stop and feel like you messed up. Just keep saying, because like what Sharon shared with me was they don't know what the presentation looks like or what it's supposed to say or whatever. You know, you are the one sharing your knowledge. So just having that in mind as well is like you are the one creating the presentation. So really can go however you want. So that was how it was helpful during my first one. So
Thank you, Gabby.
I love that. Well, I
Thank
know,
you.
like when Dr. Nalani and Michelle, I didn't even know Michelle, but years ago when I got started, I had Abby Latendre come and do a presentation for me and it took an hour. And I went, oh my gosh. I mean, it was so long. And she brought flaxseed and she brought all the stuff. And I just thought, I can never do that. And so how I got out of that, because I didn't mind presenting, I was in marketing and, you know, sales. So I don't mind talking to people. But what I used to do, and you could still do it now. I mean, Michelle kind of did it with that VF one with the video with the Courtney Epps with the tax thing. Like you can talk for 5 or 10 minutes and then show a video. So I used to invite people over my house in October. I used to invite people over my house for cancer prevention. And I would, you know, I'd have some food there and I would talk for a few minutes. I'd have the products, we'd do some samples and we would sit down and watch a 15-minute video and I'd be like, there you go. I mean, I would do the talking. So you could still do that, you know?
Thank you.
In fact, when I first came into the business 14 years ago, that all we did was tell our story. And I didn't even have a story. Well, we did have a story because we didn't tell testimonials back then. We just talked about why Juice Plus made sense to us. But it was all about just showing a video, show the information and say, you know, I love this and this is why I love it. You know, and I can help you get started.
Love it.
I know I went
if you
to a
just share from your heart, if you just share from your heart and just get over that initial fear once, then you'll be fine. Sorry.
Yeah. And I think everybody on here that's been doing this for any length of time can tell you that I actually embrace now messing up. I embrace now not being perfect because I used to be more of a perfectionist. My husband and kids have kind of cured that a little bit. But as far as my business world, I was always, you know, professional, and getting into this, I wanted everything to be perfect, right? I know you've heard before, you know, you want the house to be perfect. You want the presentation to be perfect. And you're telling the kids, you know, I want the house to be exactly quiet. I think sometimes the more people can see that you can do this and I'm a mom and this is real and I got kids running and I can still do this business and be successful, it just makes it more attainable for everybody else to know that they can do this. You know, the more I had a rep who I just loved, but she was a party person, like not party like getting drunk, but party. She knew how to entertain. So we'd go over her house and she wanted like, you know, the chocolate fountain. And I was like, people can't duplicate that. Like you need to make Rice Krispie treats, you need to make smoothies, and that's it. Like the more stuff people are going to be like, I can't duplicate that. So you want to think about, can my team members duplicate this? Is this going to overwhelm them?
I talked to someone recently and, you know, a friend of mine, and she was like, girl, do it messy. That's life. Just do it messy. Just show up. You know, it's your business. Make it your baby. Show up, but do it messy because, you know, no one is expecting you to be perfect. And that was so powerful for me. I thought, you're right. I'm not perfect. No one else is perfect.
Yeah. Has everybody on here messed up on a presentation? Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding? It was a whole bunch of messes.
Yeah. It still is, Nalani. It still is for me. All the time.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, those people like myself who are healthcare practitioners, we tend to not do as well because we talk too much. We know
Me,
too much, we talk too much.
I
So
vomit
if
on
you could
people.
just, yeah, if you just stick to the script and be yourself, you got this.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Oh, I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
there was I don't know if you guys ever heard this story. Some of you will know the national marketing director I'm talking about, but there was a national marketing director who tells a story about how she went to go help one of her new team members, and this is years ago. One of her new team members, she was national marketing director, but she made it pretty quickly, and she really hadn't spoken. She'd always relied on other people to do in front of the hotel, the hotel room, and talking to people. And her representative had invited, I'm going to make up a number, 25 people to come hear her talk. And she got so nervous that right before the presentation, she actually ran to the bathroom, and she was afraid to come out. And she said, I was in there for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden she says, there's a knock at the door. And she's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry that I have ruined this for you. And this is terrible. I'm going to come out. I'm composing myself. I'm going to come out. And he said, no. He said, this is fantastic. He said, I couldn't ask for anything better. He said, because all of them in there went, oh my gosh, if she can do this business, we can do this business.
I love it.
Yeah, if she can make it to the top of this company and she can't even speak, we can do this. So I just always love that story.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I need to remember that I'm human.
There's another story that I absolutely love about Julie Herbst. Because Julie Herbst is 100 Club. She's spokeswoman for the company. She's all over the videos, and I always remember her saying that the first several times for a long time, she was so nervous just to pick up the telephone that it was shaking so much that she had to hold the phone with two hands, literally, just to say, hi, this is Julie. I just wanted to share something she was just so nervous. And so that tells me, I get excited, when I hear of people who have overcome that. The story, the bottom line to the story is feel the fear and do it anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle, I can't see everybody on here. I would love for you. I saw on the the Mocktail event and your Scavenger Hunt. So I know you did that Scavenger Hunt a while ago, and I never got to watch that. Can you, I know you guys have done some really fun things in your group with your team. Can you go over a couple of those? Is Michelle still on?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
So the Scavenger Hunt was pretty much, we had a series of questions, and people had to, if they were in their kitchen, they were running into their refrigerator or their pantry for the item. So the doctor says to eat one of these a day, and then they would have to go get an apple and show us the apple. And we were given we gave away prizes. So we had about maybe 15 questions where we gave them a hint, and then they had to go get the item and show it to us. So it made it really interactive and fun, but at the same time educational. So we touched on it's so important to get omegas in your diet. Do you have omegas? If you do, show us what you got, things like that. So that was something, I think we did it last year around the holidays, just something to switch it up and make things fun. So we did that. And then the Mocktail event, I think we did that during the summer, where we took the recipes from the cookbook that we have, and the cookbook has a bunch of mocktail recipes. And there was about 5 or 6 of us that participated. It was on Zoom, and we all decided to make a different recipe and show how simple it was to make the recipe. So that turned out really good too, because I've never tried making a mocktail, and it was so simple. And it had simple ingredients, and I did it, and it tasted really good too. So that was fun. And we try to make it like a party happy hour theme, because instead of a happy hour, we were drinking healthier versions of a cocktail. So that's a fun Friday night maybe event, or it's, I don't know, whenever there's a happy hour type event.
Hey,
So
Michelle,
those are 2 things I can think of off the top of my head.
Michelle, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
On the one you were talking about where you had them go and get the items,
Mhm.
what did y'all call that?
That was a scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt. Have you ever thought about doing that like, for families, like have the kids, to bring it down to the kid level and have them go and, look for something and maybe give the moms a heads up beforehand or whatever? That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, we actually invited people to have their kids on if they wanted. So some people had their kids on and the kids were running for the items, and my kids were actually doing it too. So they were running back and forth because I'm in my office, but they were running to the kitchen and bringing the item. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, it's really just a fun interactive event for the whole family.
That's fun. So what else? I know that, gosh, I don't even know. I'm really bad with time. A month or more ago, we did a customer appreciation event. And I know that that's one of the things that I love is being able to invite customers, not just inviting prospects and hopefully they turn into customers, but having events where, you can let your customers know that you appreciate them because you want them to have this education. And sometimes it's just about the fun, right? Like a mocktail event or whatever. So what are some other ways we can show, I'm kind of switching this up a little bit but events, either live or Zoom, like what are some other ways we can show appreciation with customers? And I'm thinking about this because there was a post in the Let's Exchange Reps thing about customer appreciation. Besides just doing, I guess my question is, besides just doing like the normal events, how else, what other, I guess, value added events can we do besides just focusing on our Juice Plus, products? Something like that. Is there any other kind of events that we can all come up with? Like maybe now this is a brainstorming session, like what else can we come up with to give value? Anybody?
I think it's really good to take am I breaking up? Let me know.
You're okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
I just noticed the reaction time to me talking was a little off, so I didn't know if I was breaking up. But I think it's really good to see what's going on like in the current time and then make events relevant to whatever's happening. So I think like I think so many people are looking for ways to improve their immune system. And so like when there's like focused events around that kind of thing, it kind of attracts people. And I even know with my customers last year, there were some really amazing events that were really relevant to what was happening. And then people were like, oh yeah, I definitely want to get on that. I can't remember specifically, but I think they were like doctor-led events by like Mitra Ray and those type of things. So I think that gives them value in knowing they're doing a really good thing, that they're on the products, and then they're getting education behind it too. Kind of like what you guys are doing with the express events is really good, the focused information for people.
I agree. I think, Michelle, something like a Mother's Day event where you pamper your mom yourself,
Mhm.
and you can make the face cream with the omegas. You can put the omegas into that, which I tried for the first time last night, by the way.
You look radiant.
Thank you. Thank you. I just played tennis too, so that might be why.
So I love this idea about Mother's Day. Let's brainstorm because I think that would be a fun one to be able to do.
Yeah, you can do facials with the berry and the plant powders. We could make treats with the complete.
These are
I don't
so
know
good.
if it's coming up too soon though. That's the only thing.
Well, but again, a lot of this stuff,
like 3 weeks.
Yeah, but guys, a lot of times think about most of our events. Most of our events are doing the same stuff. It just think about the one simple change, right? Like we already know the information about the complete, really. We already know the information about the berries. We've already done a beauty event where we talked about this and that. So a lot of times it's just kind of picking little pieces of different events or picking pieces out of an event and then making it a different one. It's not like we're all of a sudden saying, oh, let's learn how to macrame. Like I would not know what to do, right? So we already kind of are living in this. So I love that, Kristen. So I say we do a Mother's Day event, Kristen. because I think it would be fun to do the facials. People love that beauty event. Cherise is going to be doing another beauty event. I think it's May 24th.
Right.
Right, which is going to be, that was a big hit. So that's thinking about, she did a beauty event. People love that one. That was I think there was like 94 and 96 people on the one. So moms love that event. We want to know how to anti-age. So I think we should do some sort of pamper me, Mother's Day thing. I think we need to brainstorm with that after.
That's a great idea. And what I'm
Kristen is now
thinking
kicking
is,
herself. She's like, I wish I had not spoken.
I'm thinking that getting them there, I think, is the biggest part. We can have all these events, and when we get more people to show up at the event, and I know this might be kind of switching the energy a little bit to a different subject, but it's the same subject. Tips and ways, creative ways to actually get people to show up and to have larger numbers. So one of the things that you just said was we already tapped in, because you've already tapped into the biggest interest, anti-aging, right? So when we promote it, we just promote the ones that we see really get the biggest turnout, I guess is the word I'm
And
using.
you just
Mhm.
triggered something else. We could also say, we could do it with getting our own moms on here. So it could be
Yes.
like having an event where we have, do a customer event. We can have our customers bring their moms on.
Right. Or their grandmoms, or, or a neighbor who's elderly, or a neighbor who's like a mom.
Yes, I love it.
So, there are many of us who don't have moms anymore. We are the mom or the grandmom. So it goes for everybody, for those who are young and who have moms, and then for everybody else too. So that works.
You could have
I
your
guess we'll be
customers bring
talking-
their
I guess we'll
daughters
be
to their
hashing
mom.
this out on Voxer later.
Yes, in my brain, I was just thinking that. I'm like, I'm creating a Voxer group after this, so we don't do, because I think this is a fabulous idea, Kristen.
Right, because I have daughters that are not on the product. You could bring your daughters who are moms that are not on the product too. Yeah.
Right, we're thinking the opposite. I have a 13-year-old, and she just does what I tell her still.
You're a lucky girl.
Well, I don't have much longer. My son is 16 and he doesn't listen anymore, so.
I understand.
Okay, so I love Mother's Day. So let's think about different things coming up. This is like perfect. What about Father's Day coming up? What can we do about dad? Like, I know it's harder for moms to think about, like, are dads concerned about their skin? Like, what are dads concerned about besides keeping mom happy?
Hey, Patrick does a great one on avocado oil for his skin.
That's true. Maybe we could get Patrick involved in a Dad's Day thing.
Yeah, he's a great one. And Doug.
Well, and my husband uses the Complete for his after workout drink.
So,
and I think men are really concerned about sex drive.
Yeah.
And I know the Vineyard helps with that.
The purple pills.
For sure.
Yes. The Vineyard helps with that, Michelle. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. That's so awesome.
I have a story behind that. When I was a new rep, I had like a customer who was over 80, and he was only taking the purple because that's what my cousin sold him. Back then, we never used to just sell one product, but he was only taking the purple because he heard there was elderberry, and he was like, "Oh, elderberry, so good." Well, he was like, he wanted to have a 3-way call with me to let me know how well it was working in his 80s, that he was functioning unlike how he's been able to function in a long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, TMI, but it was hilarious. Like, he was so excited that things were working again. And I was like, oh my gosh, just from the Vineyard. So I always think of that when it comes to the berries.
That's funny.
Blood circulation.
Yeah, that's it all. That's it. We have a client that we sent some to. He's in another country, and he had COVID, and he was feeling pretty bad. So we sent him some Juice Plus, and we sent him, of course, the whole quad. And a week later, he calls and said, "What was that you gave me? I'm waking up with," and fill in the blank.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
We may get a ton of order of vineyards. Maybe we need to do a merman event and not just a mermaid event, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yep.
Well, I know one of my very first health fairs I did was in Pompano Beach, and it was kind of awkward because I didn't know there was going to be another Juice Plus person there. It wasn't an exclusive thing, but she happened to be a nurse. And it was really funny because she was going around and it was a senior event. And she was going around grabbing men and talking about their sex drive in the vineyard. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So it was funny. Okay, I love that. I think
see that on a flyer. They're going to be at the event.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody come up with wording for that. Okay, so yeah, I think this
I'll go look at a Cialis advertisement. We'll grab
there you
something.
go. Yeah.
The purple pill is the new blue pill.
Yeah,
Right,
Dr.
I was going to
Saran.
say that. I was going to say that because we don't want to make it sound like we're making claims that it's going to do anything. So we just say, you know, I don't know about the blue pill, but I know the purple pill, fill in the blank, anything like that.
Yeah.
I know Dr. Saran would always talk about it being our own healthy Viagra, actually, because he talked about the vasodilation and how it increased blood flow. And so just fill in the blanks.
So we need like Dr. Nalani or somebody on there that can present that in a, you know, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, in a more clinically way.
Correct. Yeah. And, you know, we could even on the flyer say something about, you know, only positive side effects, you know, how they all have all these other negative side effects. So, okay. So this is so much fun, like creating different events, guys. I love when we brainstorm because I think we, as a group, instead of just one person sitting there going, oh my gosh, what can I do next? It's so much fun to be able to brainstorm like this. So,
I love Michelle's wine and trivia night that she had too. I forget exactly the catchy title, but it was like, maybe it was just wine and trivia. I don't know, but that was really cool too. And just the trivia that she had about different produce. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I've never heard of this before. So it was awesome.
So Michelle, I don't remember that one. Tell us about that one.
I think that may still be the Scavenger Hunt event. Am I right, Joy? We did so many events last year.
I'm thinking that's the one maybe Alicia and I did. I think that
it was
one
Joy.
like a wine
Joy was
and
definitely
trivia.
on there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was trivia and wine.
Joy
it was
and
really
Alicia put that together.
Yeah.
Okay. It was super good. Sorry, I
Yes.
gave the credit to Michelle. It was all your brains, Alicia and Joy. Sorry about that. But
No worries.
It was good.
So if anybody, I tell you what might be a benefit. I mean, you guys tell me, but it would be neat to be able to have somebody pop into Team Transformers Voxer group and leave, like, if you can be done, like a 1 minute, you know, hey, I did a wine and trivia event and this is what it was, you know, and then if somebody wants the information, maybe they could reach out to you, or maybe you just say you could come up with your own information about asking about fruits and vegetables, or a scavenger hunt, just giving a quick little synopsis for everybody. Or maybe we just, I guess in this recording, they've got it. Hopefully people watch that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with summer coming up, we only have 8 more minutes. With summer coming up, what are some ideas that you guys might have bouncing around in your heads?
You know, me and my team had talked about this, and a few people came up with some clever things. Hold on, I'm going to look for the message group where we talked about this. I know someone had mentioned, like, with the kids being out, having like a little cooking demo and healthy, like little healthy things for them to eat. Let me see. Definitely back to school is always one, but okay, just a thought. Having like a no bake complete treats event, and layered cold fruit salads in a jar. Perfect for the beach, and maybe making some popsicles.
Michelle, what
so
you
like
said there
kid
was,
event.
when you said no bake, that was a very powerful word, because we want it simple and easy. And so when you say no bake treats, to me, that really draws people in rather than giving a lot of choices. Because
Mhm.
sometimes
It
when we
was the
give too
chef on
many
my team
choices,
that came up with that.
So are you guys going to be doing that live, or is that going to be a Zoom? Because now I'm trying to think how to incorporate that almost like a salad in a jar. Like you almost do it like a cookie exchange, except other people don't have the complete. So if you have people, if you already have a couple of recipes, right, you have somebody bring like, hey, can you bring 4 cups of Rice Krispies? Hey, can you and then everybody leaves with a bunch of different treats, and then they kind of can take them home to the family. Maybe their kids can try them. So now I'm kind of brainstorming that way instead of just a Zoom event.
I think we were brainstorming this in January, so I don't think we were thinking live at the time, but it definitely could be live and done that way. That would be really, really clever. Meal planning was a suggestion from someone for July. Focus on family vacation, summertime fun. So yeah, those are just some things some people on my team were sharing, like ideas I thought were really good.
Okay, so you know what, one, I saw this, actually it was a post that somebody did in Facebook, and I saw Jules post it. This would be a fun one to do, and it's not really, I mean, I guess we could talk about hacks, right? Like your favorite tool for the kitchen that makes life easier. And everybody talks, you know, somebody could talk about, I'm going to say, you know, the Instapot. Somebody can talk about the air fryer. Somebody could talk about a chopper, whatever. And then we could talk about at the end, you talk about Juice Plus, like this is my easy hack for being able to get more fruits and vegetables. And I think that would be a fun one.
That's a good one. So we also did a couple, I think twice before, we did like a tower to table event. And so I think with summer coming up, I think a lot of what we made was like I know I made a soup and I made like a hash or whatever, but I was thinking it would be good to do it again now that we're going into summertime, and maybe focus on some like summer type recipes. But it was basically just, you know, we all kind of showed our tower, people who had a tower, and there are people who participated that didn't have towers, but you know what you can grow off of a tower. So all you have to do is, you know, have a simple recipe with something that you could actually grow on a tower. But it gave us a chance to talk about the tower just a little bit, and then show like, I think there were like 5 or 6 of us, show like quick little recipes of things that you can make using things off of your tower. And then, of course, we had Chef Nina, of course, who gives us like a plethora of all this great information. But those were fun. And I think people really liked those. They liked the recipes and they wanted the recipes. So I'm hoping we can do that again come summer.
Cool. This has been fun. Has anybody, does everybody on here, I mean, my goal is for everybody to feel not just empowered, but you know, that it would be fun and also easy for them to participate in events like this, you know, because I know that a lot of times it's the leaders doing some of these, but I'm hoping that a lot of the new people on here feel like, you know, oh my gosh, yeah, I could totally, you know, join an event like that. Does everybody feel comfortable that they could join, you know, all of these different events or participate somehow in all of these events?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's easier when you do it with a bunch of people. Like I'm 6 years in and I still don't like standing in front of people talking. I don't like being the focus on the Zoom. I'm getting better, but I still get super nervous. So when I do an event, like I like to ask people that I know I have good chemistry with to do it with. So like Michelle and Alicia and Cynthia, Vela, like people who I know, like I kind of feed off of their energy. And so it helps me to be a little bit more comfortable and a little more myself and conversational when I'm doing an event. But so, and then it's not just on you to do the whole event. If you have 3 or 4 or 5 other people all sharing their story and doing a piece of it, it's still an event, but you don't feel like it's all on you because it's your event. So that's what has helped me put on my own events, asking other people to do it with me.
Yes, I agree with Joy. And I also think that doing a brainstorming session like this, it makes everybody feel a part of it. So it makes you more likely to want to participate in it.
And I'm looking for, once I get to Texas, to be doing everything live, not on a Zoom, but it would be fun to do it both ways. Have someone that is doing the same thing that I'm doing and pair up with that one that's like, say, if Gwen is doing something online that I'm doing in my home, and we have both her Zoom and my event going on simultaneously. I could, so it would make it very interesting to have that duo thing going on.
And we were actually doing that this weekend, but it got canceled on Friday.
I couldn't hear you, Gwen. What did you say?
No, we were actually going to do that here this Friday. We were going to have a live event in town at someone's home, and I was going to do the presentation, and we were going to Zoom in Marissa, and she was going to talk, and it was going to be all about autoimmune, and that's been canceled now. So
yeah, I saw that. Okay, well, I would love to do that. I'd love to do it with you, Gwen, too. So, but we're talking about a month away.
Well, I thought of one thing one of my neighbors did for kids, thinking of summer, kind of back on that topic. She just kind of set out a thing to our neighborhood Facebook group saying anybody who wants to meet at the park every Friday morning at 8:30, we'll just go for a run around this Peck Farm Park. It's like a 2.4-mile loop that's right by our houses. And so kids could ride their bikes, or they could run or scooter, whatever. But it was just kind of a nice way to get out with people. And you didn't have to make a commitment, but she would be there every Friday morning at 8:30, and anybody who wanted to join her could. So that was kind of our take on your awesome beach yoga on the beach, which sounds incredible. So I like that idea. And then also during the March Madness, there was this one gal, I don't recall her name, but she did a really neat, she does lots of events like twice a week. Helping Families Thrive was her topic or whatever. And I know she did one event as a yoga and snacks or something like that. But she would always start with her story and that they were there to help people thrive, to help families learn how to thrive. And then she would show like a short little video, and then talk a little bit more just quickly about the products. And then it moved on to the yoga girl, and it kind of ended with the yoga girl. And so that was fun. But she does a couple events per week, and it's normally just a couple or 3 people sharing their stories and showing 1 or 2 short videos on whatever the topic is. But that was kind of a cool special guest to have the yoga person. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That reminds me of years ago when my kids were younger, I did a park potluck to try and get moms there with the kids so the kids could do that. And I made a mistake. So this goes back to where, with as a Juice Plus community, we know, ingredients we shouldn't eat, and we know all of that, but a lot of people don't. So I remember I said, park potluck, bring a healthy dish to share. And I should have never used the word healthy, because so many people froze. When I was following up with people, they literally were not going to come because they didn't know a healthy dish to share. Like, they just didn't understand. So then when I changed, and I did a potluck one time at my house. People love potlucks. And I had to refrain from saying, bring a healthy dish. I was just like, you know what, come to a potluck. And some of the dishes, I was like, oh my God, I may need a defibrillator. Like, if I even eat a plate of that. But people just love to get together, and we have to try and remember sometimes, I think, to just share the information with Juice Plus, because not everybody wants to make changes with Juice Plus, right? They just want to take Juice Plus. I have a customer who for years I tried to get him to listen in an event, go to an event, and he said, are they going to tell me I need to eat more fruits and vegetables? And I was like, well, probably. He goes, I have no interest. He's like, I don't want to eat fruits and vegetables. That's why I'm taking Juice Plus. So I think sometimes a lot of these events, to make them more fun, to make them just relatable with everybody, I think is really, the key, instead of just, hammering like, oh, you need to eat healthier to have a stronger immune system. I think, we're going to get more people on with some of these fun ones, like the Mother's Day and the Dad's Day. Oh my gosh, with the sex drive. I can't wait now I'm like dying for Father's Day for this event. So I'm going to post after Sharon posts this in the, what time is it? Yeah, it's 1:03. So after Sharon posts this in Facebook, I actually took notes on a lot of these events. I'm just going to do like a comment and I'm going to try and list all of these in there. But I so appreciate everybody, you know, contributing today, because I really, you know, when you have more people brainstorming like this, look how it just fed off of each other, right? One person says one thing, somebody else says another. So, I mean, I would love to, you know, if there's actually people who want to get together in a Voxer group and bounce ideas off of people, like, I'm open for that as well. And if you guys have any more, once Sharon posts this in there, if anybody has any other brainstorm ideas and you want to make it in a comment, hey, I just thought of this, you know, idea, you know, this kind of event, pop it in there, because everybody, I think, needs, you know, I'm not going to say help, but sometimes we just kind of get frozen on, oh my gosh, what other event can we, you know, what else can we do? So anybody have anything else to say before we go? I see there's a couple of things in the chat.
I
would
actually
like
have a,
to-
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I had to go. I met with somebody to place an order, but so I had to click off for a little bit. But the detox on the foot bath, I know Karen, I shared with you about that. When I posted the pictures, I've had 75 people respond to that. So the cool thing about the foot bath, it takes 25 to 30 minutes. And so my plan is, I ordered one. My plan is, while they're sitting there getting their foot bath and seeing the changes in the color of the water, I'm just going to share with them about Juice Plus. And so that's, you just never know what people are going to be interested in. So that's just another idea. I'm only going to, because we're still kind of in lockdown, we're not supposed to be doing a lot of big events. So I'm just going to meet with like 2 or 3 people and maybe make a smoothie or something and just say, serve them that for a snack and let them do the foot bath and see, because it's pulling the toxins out of your body. And then just share with them, not a presentation per se, but just a friendly conversation. Well, this is what I'm doing, and see all that stuff in the water. I want that stuff out of me. So that's another idea.
Yeah, I think that's, I know, I was one of the ones who responded. I was like, I think that's a great idea. It's too bad it takes 20 minutes. It's too bad it can't be done in 5 minutes. And then you could have like 5 ladies over and really do it and knock everybody out. But I know you can't get toxins out that quickly.
I think all the ideas that we had are great. And I think that it's important to do the one that we have, the new presentations that we have that has everything. I mean, that can be done in 25 minutes, and then sprinkle these special ones, you know, like the express ones, or the Father's Day one and the Mother's Day one, and not forget the whole one that invites everybody to take a look at it. And because I've done in 25 minutes, 25 to 28 minutes, both the product and the business, inviting people to take a look if they're interested within 25 minutes. So it can be done. And then we can sprinkle in all these other great ideas to, you know, to get it around.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, because the one simple change one is powerful, because it also shows how few products we have. Like, this is all about whole food nutrition. You know, it's not like you need how many times have you guys had somebody say, all right, send me your brochure of everything you've got? And I'm like, this is it, you know? So I think that's pretty powerful.
So Kathy, where did you get your foot bath? Kathy, are you on?
Yes, I'm on. I'm actually at the getting my prescription. I ordered it. I will send you, Darby, the information, and it comes with like 100 plastic liners, and so we did that at our Riadoso thing, and that's how I heard about it.
Well, let me tell you,
I've done it before.
Listen, I've done it before. I felt so much better, and I did it like 3 times in a row until the water got lighter and lighter with each time. So that was very cool. Okay, thank you, Kathy.
You're so welcome.
All right, thanks so much, everybody. Loved having everybody on, loved all the ideas. And yes, absolutely. I say we let Sharon and whoever do the one simple change a couple times a month, like twice a month. And then these get sprinkled in between, which I think would be perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Recording.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.